This is lesson 10.3.3, problem 10.134F. All right, we have the quantity x minus 2 squared greater than 7. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to solve for the boundary point. So I'm going to let my inequality, I'm going to change it into an equation and get it equal to 7. And then I'm going to solve for x. So I'm going to undo what's happening to x. So first I'm going to take the square roots of both sides. So that gives me plus or minus there. This square root undoes my square. So I have x minus 2 equal to plus or minus the square root of 7. And then I'm going to add 2 to both sides to get x alone. So we have x equals 2 plus the square root of 7 and x, and we also have x equals 2 minus the square root of 7. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just substitute these numbers into my calculator and see what I get for the decimals approximately so I can graph these. So on this one, I get approximately 4.6. Double check. So I get approximately 4.6. And for my other one, I get approximately negative 0.6. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put these on a number line here. All right, and so I'm just going to spread this out a little bit here. Approximately where they're at. All right. And so now what I need to do is I'm going to need to figure out what part of my number line here is supposed to be shaded in. Where are my solutions, okay? So I'm going to divide this number line up into 3 parts. So we're going to have the pieces that are to the left of negative 0.6, to the right of 4.6, and those that are in between, and figure out where we need to shade. So my original problem was x minus 2 quantity squared greater than 7. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to test a number that is less than negative 0.6. So I'm going to test, let's do negative 1. So I'm going to put negative 1 in for x and solve and see what happens. So I end up getting negative 3 squared greater than 7. Negative 3 squared is 9. 9 is greater than 7. That is true. So that means that any solutions that are in this area are going to make that inequality true. So that is going to be one piece of my solution. And so what that looks like when I write it is that x is less than negative 0.6. Right? And then I'm going to test the middle part here, so between negative 0.6 and 4.6, so I'll pick a number in between those. So I'm going to pick 0, and I'm going to just put that into my inequality, which I have. So I put 0 in for x, and I get 4 is greater than 7, and that is not true. So that means any numbers between negative 0.6 and 4.6 are not going to be a part of my solution, so I will not highlight that. And then I'm going to finally test a point that is to the right of 4.6. So I'm going to test 5. So I'm going to take my original inequality again and put 5 in for x. See what happens. So I get that 9 is greater than 7. That is true. So that means that any of those numbers that I substitute in that are to the right of this are going to be true. And remember, we do not have an equals to, so we are going to have open circles. And then the other side of this looks like x is greater than 4.6. Okay. All right, so there we go. So we have that x has to be less than approximately negative 0.6, or x has to be greater than 4.6. And then we have that graphed on the number line.